order, we'll have the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the October West Canning Borough Monthly Council meeting, this date, October 1st, will come to order. At this time, I'll have resident comments.
Michael Hawley, 363 Butler Road. Okay. If I may ask, has an ordinance been started about animal protection?
No, it has not.
Okay, are we still considering doing
We're
that?
definitely considering it, yes.
Okay. And I know there has been some talk about the landlord-tenant.
We've been going back and forth with that, and we've talked about that, yes. I mean, we have work to do on the ordinances.
Yes.
You know, there's no doubt about that, and that is one of our top priorities.
Okay, I would like to ask, I'd like to be a part of that somehow whenever that starts to take place, because I think there's only one person on council that I know of that has been a landlord, and I believe that is Bernie, and he could be the only one probably to relate to me as a landlord to deal with issues.
I agree with that, but on the other side of that, you know, we have to look at the, you know, the community as a whole also. I mean, there's the community side of it, and there's also the landlord side of it. There also is another landlord in,
Used to be.
never mind.
Right, but
But she
what,
could add also, I mean,
Yeah.
so she could add to that also. But-
Right.
Okay, I'll consider that.
I mean, the reason I'm asking, because not to attack the landlord, because the landlords already take a lot of abuse from it. Believe me, I just went through another property in East Katanning, you know, with going on about someone actually posting on Craigslist, trying to get rid of my property, everything else, and the police did not stand by you because it's, quote, a civil matter, and I'm hoping with this ordinance or whatever you guys are doing with the landlord tenant.
All right, have you looked at the tanning ordinance in any way, shape, or form? Or read about it in the paper when they enacted that?
I do own property there in Katanning as
Okay,
well.
it's gonna be
and I'm-
similar to that. Okay, it might not be a cookie cutter, but it's gonna be, we're gonna sort of follow those guidelines.
Okay, because that's one thing I would, instead of though posing fees on the landlords though, there should be some way we can eliminate fees without,
But that holds the landlords to their task, okay? That, at that point, if they're gonna have to pay, they're gonna have to look at the next tenants they have coming in there, okay? You know, they can't wash their hands of that.
but Cliff, as a landlord, okay, have you ever been one?
No.
People can persuade you, they can talk so sugarcoat it. We don't know as landlords what we're up against, and we don't need to be beaten. If anything, we need something to help protect
But you've
us.
chosen to be a landlord. You know that comes with that territory.
But we chose,
I'll
but we.
play the devil's advocate.
Right, we chose, but we also want it to work for us. We're, you know, everybody needs housing, you know, so we're picking a profession and we try our best, but how would everybody as a homeowner to be taxed on another fee? You know, if you're gonna pose an extra $100 a year on me as a homeowner,
I see your point entirely, but like I said, I have to see both sides of the story.
okay, because I'm sure everybody who owns property here won't wanna pay an additional $100 just because you own a house here in West Katanning. You know, I mean, because that's also bringing revenue. I'm paying extra taxes as a property owner up here in West Katanning Borough as well, which I've been very fortunate in West Katanning. I have never had any problems with any of my tenants.
And see, another idea we're kicking around and was brought up by a council member is possibly tax credits for first-time home buyers in West Katanning. You know, to help ease the burden on them to buy a house in West Katanning, so at that point, it doesn't fall into a rental situation.
But what if they turn around and buy for a rental
Well,
property?
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of legalities involved, but, you know, we're looking at that, because there's a lot of properties in West Katanning for sale, okay? And like I said, it's a nice community, and that's why people live here, all right, generation after generation.
Well, that's why I'm
So-
asking, don't make it a hardship on a landlord
Okay, all
though,
right, point taken.
okay? And I do have another thing. If I just may ask, with our police department, which the mayor wasn't here, I was gonna ask him, or anybody on council, tell me what we have gained with all the changes in our police department since Fred Quinn.
gained.
Yes.
I mean, I can't say I track that.
Can
Do
you,
you think the community has went downhill since Fred Quinn? Or do you have facts or anything to back that up?
I don't think we have gained anything more by what we have.
But have we lost?
We've
we
actually,
lost ground?
we're spending more in tax revenue, sure.
No, I can't answer that.
Fred was 24/7 too.
And I believe what, Fred only got about, if I'm not wrong, about 12,000 a year.
No, that was BC. That was before me.
But I'm just saying, look, you know, we need to look into that because, I mean, as a business owner, I was here with Fred Quinn and,
But I mean, then again, there's complaints and there was positives to that also. I mean, it's a lose-lose situation when it comes to the police department. In any community, you have the pros and you have the cons. You know, it doesn't matter.
but I just think we need, as taxpayers, look at the revenue we're paying now and what we had one officer, which, when we all really look back, what Fred has done, he did not do that bad of a job. It's just like with
That's your
anything.
opinion. That's, you know.
I mean, for all the more he got paid for, and all the, you know, and I don't see any big changes with the officers. Because honestly, in my opinion, we've had nothing but problems. We've had lawsuits against the borough with officers we had, you know, in the borough. An officer wasn't even sworn in. That was Officer Kessler at the time, whenever he took the position. So we've had some problems.
All right. Thank you for your opinion. Thank you for your comments. Any other comments?
First of all, on behalf of the Honor Roll Committee, I want to thank you for the donation and put it toward new flags for next year. And as when you guys decide tonight for trick or treat, I'd like.
Well, see, we talked about that too. Catani's meeting's not going to be till next week. I mean, we're going to say that our trick or treat night's going to be the same
The
as
30th.
Catani. As soon as
Tuesday,
they.
Wednesday night before the parade, and the parade will be the 31st.
And, you know, same with Ford City, North Buffalo, we all want to be the same date. That
Well, and I'd
hinges
like
on
to ask
Catani.
from Crime Watch if I could have some people out help walking. And I already talked to Officer DeHagen, and he said that Officer Airwood was going to be on that night.
On Halloween?
Yes.
Or as far as, on which night?
Well, the 30th is what he was assuming too. that-
Okay, was assuming Catani's going to be the 30th also? But West Catani's is going to be the same.
Same as Catani's,
Yeah.
right. And from the fire department, the Halloween parade here will be Friday night, the 25th. I talked to the mayor about that.
Friday the 25th.
25th at 7 o'clock. And that's for the kids in West Catani.
Did you say 7, Nikki?
Yes.
Okay.
And one more thing, November's meeting you won't be able to have here, that's election day. So we'll need to go to the empty building,
What time's the polls close? 8?
8. And I don't know how long it is till they get out of here.
All right, we're going to have to think about that.
You don't get out of here.
I brought the calendar out, so they decided on
Like the whole rest of that week was free, pretty much.
Yeah, the 4th,
Tuesday
well, they come in
through-
Monday night and set up for
Okay.
the
Well, we
election.
could-
So
we
after
could-
you work
everything
maybe-
there.
Thursday, Friday.
Maybe we'll advertise for Wednesday. You what?
Well, Bernie, they set up over here. We'd set up over here for Monday
Yeah,
night
that'd be-
4th.
That's,
Yeah, that's a little conflicting. Maybe we could, let's do it in the
yeah, we're
the
doing.
meeting room. Set up chairs in the meeting room.
For Tuesday night, for Tuesday. the
Same
5th.
day, yeah. I'll look at that. Well, let's figure on that, but I'll take a look at that
Okay.
and see if that's possible.
there.
Or, yeah, next week, I mean, we've had borough meetings on election day for how long, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I forgot.
Yeah,
Oh, I know, I know.
but basically,
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Carol?
At the last meeting, it was mentioned that the only burden to the borough for the unpaid payroll taxes was $75. At this time, I want to ask what the $651 that was paid in July was for, and why was that not brought up?
So what's your comment on that, Carol?
How much in
No, that's a
penalties?
question. What's your comment on that?
My comment is that council needs to be honest with the citizens, and we need to have a real number, and the taxpayer should not have to cover any of that, because it was told to the auditors that that was going to be taken care of personally, because it should have never happened.
Any other comments?
No.
Anybody else have comments? Okay. Move on to the minutes. Motion to approve. Motion by Ken. Second by Bernie Senior. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous? Mayor's report. Does anybody have the police report in their possession? Well, due to the fact that the mayor is absent tonight, there will be no police report. On mayor's report. Committee reports.
I might cover the public works, since you're waiting, sir. I think you'll note that our license was late, and
On Northern.
we're extremely happy with the job we've done.
We had some reports on some drainage issues there last year as far as the catch basins and that. Was it, or the catch basins rebuilt?
No, we're still on the catch basins, but that wasn't part of this. That wasn't
Okay.
part of this.
That's the next phase.
But you'll notice that, yeah, but you'll notice that where we did have one off, they even built curb force this year.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That
Yeah,
was-
I checked that
That
out.
was a given that wasn't in the contract.
So that's done?
We did it for us.
That contract is done?
Mhm. Yes, sir. I feel that we've done it.
Yeah, it looks nice. I can't remember who was here for Prom North Hatton. I don't know if anybody else can either. It was, had concerns with that.
Yeah.
And it was bad, I agree. But hopefully that,
But the drainage was well taken care of. It's a good job.
you're happy with it?
Very much so.
Were the edges sealed properly?
Excellent plan, yeah. He was right on the button too.
Good. Any other committee reports?
I don't know about the history of the school. I've been working on that. I don't know if this is-
Are you getting a lot of input for that?
Yeah, very little, but I've been working with Diane Transu on the items, that was found in that time capsule. She's, you approved the $800 for that, and she's working on that. I did receive one additional important artifacts, if you want to call it that. There was a teacher in 1928, a Gladys McKenna, and later McCurdy was her last name. But this article was in the paper, and I spotted it. And this is the front of a little souvenir booklet. And her mother had given this to the Leader Times
The
to
booklet?
publish it, this front, and then they had the write-up. So I picked up on that, and I called her mother, and Mrs. Zachor in Ford City. And she was just thrilled to death that I had called her. She wanted to have some kind of a response to this. She brought the little booklet to me, and I have had it for a month or 6 weeks, and I took it to Diane Transu.
Now, did she donate that, or are we to make copies of that? Can we scan that?
Copies, because she only has one copy.
Well,
of
we
it.
can scan those pages and
Well,
reproduce that.
Diane has, and then
Oh,
she's
all right.
presenting, and she's taken pictures and scans, and she's presenting a layout, you know. This little booklet has 4 poems in it, handwritten and composed by the school teacher. And it also lists the students that graduated in 1928, all the names. And so anyways, it's just a treasure. And at the end of the school year, she presented each one of her pupils one of these booklets. So Diane scanned it and she's going to prepare it. Now either on a board or a frame, we're just not sure how. My point of bringing this up, it will be an additional on top of the $800 project. Would you approve an additional $100 to cover the preparation of this booklet? Because it's really treasure.
Is that a picture of Gladys on the front?
Mhm.
That's her picture?
That's her picture.
And that's part of the poem?
Well, this is a write-up about her.
Oh, okay.
And it also lists the students on there. The Leader Times also reprinted,
Like
you know,
they're
the
on.
students, you know. But they're in that little booklet.
You
So
have
we
the poem?
can, pardon?
You have a poem?
I don't have the poem.
It will be in the booklet.
It'll be in
correct?
the booklet, and we want to separate the pages. We don't want to keep the booklet intact
Right.
because nobody would be able to read the pages.
Now, that $100 fee, is that for scanning and framing, or just scanning?
No, that is, at this point, she thought the charge was about $50 for the work that she has done so far.
Okay.
Reproducing a picture and each page, and then, you know, she'll do the layout however we want it, frame it, or however we want to lay
Okay.
it out.
All right, let's chew on that.
Okay, but this is really,
I like it. And the thing is,
really the only thing that anybody's,
well, I can foresee when this gets started, okay? And we do have this display at the new West County building, that people are gonna say, hey, wait a minute, I remember this, I remember that, you know, that type of thing. And I hope it
I
just
have
kind
talked
of
to people,
snowballs.
they all promise to write written memories, pictures. Nobody.
But I think they will. I really think they will.
I recontacted them, all my residents who were going to do that. They
I
have to do it.
think they will.
This is the same teacher when she
Mrs.
then went
McCarty.
to Katanning
See, I think I have her.
kindergarten. And I know my cousin Michael Taylor, he had her and he
Sounds
just
familiar.
loved her. And he'd always call her Mrs. McCoy because he couldn't say McCurdy.
I had her in kindergarten.
Did you? Well, then about every year, these pictures of that, the Katanning classes are put in by
Yeah.
her mother. So I do have these. But this
Nancy, what do
pertains-
you do about the pictures? I have 2. I have 2 nice pictures.
Okay, well-
Mrs. Steinmeier used to take us over there for a
Okay.
picnic. I have one there with a couple different grades. And then I have one with Rose Kirkwood and all of us in 1st grade.
Okay, now, Ms. Silver, if you can give me those pictures, I'll take a photograph of them, so we'll have a copy of them,
Okay,
and I'll get them back to you in their original
okay,
condition.
all right.
All right?
We
Okay,
need
yeah,
If
to
anybody
have
here has
a
photos,
Copy of them.
yeah, I'll take a photo
Because
of
we
them.
can't
and-
return whatever original, we can't return. We're thinking, if people would just make copies of their, whatever they
Okay.
have, or a book if they want to submit it, or anything, pertaining to the history of the West Virginia School.
I think that's the idea. We're trying to line the walls with history of the school.
We're going to incorporate it in the new building.
And remember, a resident of West County will donate a display case. He's gonna build it, and we're gonna put it in a new building for this memorabilia. And I'm not gonna name him yet, but, so that's great. I mean, resident of West County's gonna build it and put it in there, and then we have a place to put this stuff, whether it be photo albums, photos, or what have you.
Kenny,
Day before Sunday.
Nancy, the,
With
I
Helen and
appreciate
them having the store,
your information.
I didn't have to.
we should ask her what she would have.
Those,
Helen Thompson,
names
the
are
Thompson's
on the
Market and all that, what do you know, I bet you they would have
the
some.
names are on the first sheet. Do you recognize any of those? Are they all living?
She's still lives in the borough?
She's still
She just
there.
made one thing.
I don't
It says
know how
Thompson
many
Store.
would still be there.
Do you recognize
But
any
they're all
of them?
here. Yeah, some. William Seiler, is he related to Seiler that
He
has
does,
a
he
store?
does.
Richard Clark,
He does.
I'll just pick ones out that I know. Helen Patchik, is she the woman that just died about a month ago?
No, she was,
Okay. Melba Hall,
she did.
Jack Shankle, Charles Pulaski, Steve Kropanak.
Steve did.
Yes, I mean, there's a lot of names, I'm picking out ones that I'm familiar with. Gladys Linger, Harry Young, Elizabeth Sobieski, Lena Camelli, Carolyn Fink, Robert Lamison,
He died.
Anthony Smith, George Robbie, John Bentley, Lena Camelli. That's Lena and then Lena.
Johnny Bentley.
Leonard, Leonard, how would you say it? No. Mary Frank Ken Gould, Ken Gould, Ruth John, Margaret Smith, Helen Bellis, Bernard Polinsky, Robert Daly. As we approach the opening of a new school year, this look back was provided by Mrs. McCurdy's daughter, Alberta Zachor of Ford City. That's the
That's the only names on it?
No, there's other ones, I just kind of, you want to look at it?
I was wondering whether my sister's in it. She's still living. Lois.
Lois, I don't think.
Yeah, slide it over here.
This book would have been as of 1928, this listing of students. So I don't know what year she attended there.
Okay, thank you very much for
Okay,
that course.
so I have it, actually Diane at this point said $30, but depending on how we decide to preserve it and present it,
Okay.
it could go from 50 to 100.
What's the range?
You know, towards, she gave us a range, and she was going to kind of refigure the total cost, even with the 800 and adding this. So if I just have approval to keep going with it.
Yeah, she's on
All right,
it.
we'll talk about that. No,
And we don't want to get done doing things
No.
that we don't pay.
I agree.
So,
She may be, her name's on it. She may be the only one.
did you find it? Is it there?
Yeah,
Wonderful. Lois, I
she's 92.
know, she's great. That was great.
And Terry, during this conversation, mentioned about Thompson's store,
Yes,
that, you know, there's a possibility we could get something from Thompson's store.
that'd be
So,
great.
Anything.
Did you
yeah.
say Helen Thompson? Or she said, who said that?
Sure.
Helen will be 94 here in October on Halloween.
And still lives in the borough?
Oh, yeah, still in the same house.
And I contacted Carol Lorigan, who was Rose Thompson's daughter. Yeah, that's what I want to say, Lorigan.
Is she a
And
teacher
Rose is
also?
a teacher up here, that's who's, and Helen Thompson's relatives. And I contacted Margaret Wagaman Toy, she was a teacher over here. And then I had her in Apple after that. You know, they're all older. I mean, she's definitely older. Rose is deceased, but I contacted the daughter. I contacted Esther Toy Miller. She taught over here. She's married to David Miller that has an on farm. I was all excited about the project, but to date I have nothing.
Like I said, I bet they, once this gets started and they see the stuff start to come into there, they're gonna break the ice.
Advertised in the paper and, a couple of times.
Okay, that's, you know, people are a little.
That's the way it goes. But anyways, we have a start.
Good.
It doesn't mean it has to be all done by dedication.
Oh, absolutely not. That's gonna be an ongoing
We can
thing.
continue on through the years with it.
You know, I mean, people rummage around in their attics,
I just
basements,
need
and
to
find
know
things.
that I'm okay doing what I'm
Don't
doing
let-
right now.
Don't worry, if you're not, I'll tell you about it.
I will ask Helen, I get that her head's on Friday.
Okay.
So I just included it, I didn't take that.
And, and there's a poem by Delbert Baker in the West Katanning Borough booklet from, 100th anniversary. I got permission from B. Richard to use that poem because it's about new beginnings. And I want to use that poem and incorporate it in our display.
Good, that's a good idea.
Just, some things I'm working on.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
It's interesting, I
Yeah.
love it, I just wish people would respond.
Oh, they will, don't
All
worry.
my kids, all my family, they went there. Everybody's gonna
Oh,
write,
there's-
they're all gonna write stories.
They will, I think it's gonna trickle in, but it'll come. All right, thank you. Okay, if there's nothing under committee reports, unfinished business,
The only thing I want to add on committee reports is, the shingles we picked out, sides, the building, the windows, all the colors picked out, so we will be seeing that be put on the building if not next week. Everything will come together on the outside. We had Ralph, Lieutenant Engineering, inspected on Friday. Can't think of the guy that name from the inspector company. One guy that can't hear anything. Got that?
good,
He inspected as well.
all right.
And everything looks good. Everything looks real well. Did a good job on that. And, yeah, managed. The heating that works in. I think we'll start seeing electrical going. They have a couple different electrical people there. They send on that track. So we'll see two different trucks. Everything's going smooth. Building's on pace. I think it'll be probably this week we'll see a lot of the outside fixtures. That's it. You'll see electrical inside, you'll see the guys outside. Trucks will be there, they'll be pre-running.
Thank you.
Do you think we're on schedule? I mean, we're done by May
Probably gonna be a
fall?
month behind, I'd say.
Pardon?
Probably a month behind.
Okay.
From the deadline?
Yeah.
So you're not anticipating
I'm just
dedication
anticipating
in
my
the fall?
opinion, I mean, that's just my opinion, they didn't say anything, but, if you're gonna have it done by October, they should be further along than what they are.
I agree.
We had some problems with color, they had, different colors they wanted to pick out, and we got together and stuff, so that, I think I talked to you at the last meeting about the color.
Well, you can,
Yeah. So, I mean,
But
it,
you can't just do everything overnight.
well, like I said,
And you don't want to, because then you make mistakes.
every time they make a call, I mean, I can't make a decision, I gotta talk to everybody that's on committee. So, it takes a couple days to get back, and I think the color for the siding took a week to get back to me. And then he had just come up with, the shingles, and I brought that to the last council meeting, so. If it's a few weeks behind, I mean, it's not their fault, that's for sure. It's kind of still based on that.
Okay, before we get to unfinished business, I'd like to take the session.
For what?
Finance,
Because they have to tell you what they're having a meeting about. Instead of planning the rest of the meeting. What's the shame that most people don't know what
Started down
And you said those are
I get up here.
then there's all.
The one in the city was not. There was just
Oh.
I told her, I said, hey, I'm really good.
Oh, yeah, what'd you do with the girls?
I took them over, got back over home. They took one for me to the back. And then I took them over home.
I just stay away.
15 minutes.
Oh, no.
She asked me.
Because nobody was really wrong.
The money, the message. So, she calls. She said, what did call? She says, can you come here anytime? This morning,
It's a cousin of Alice and Ellery.
Oh, yeah, we didn't know.
She lived over at Rick Hannah. Where?
so,
In the Richmond.
So what it is?
let's see what she said. She said, how you doing? She says, I asked,
Can you just listen to us about it? I think the next day.
she says, can you make it to
Yes, I thought for that day.
magistrate? Which reason? I said, yeah.
She was able to be around him. Oh, no. Ours was Susan.
I can't hear them anyway.
She been sick for
You're
long.
supposed to get.
I don't know.
I got here.
Yeah, I'd have to come.
Don't be getting on the
I
camera.
want to do that.
I'm not going.
Yeah, I don't talk.
Better do a couple.
So far, supposed to be nice. It's
I like
only
it.
rain lately.
Nice and exciting.
3 to whatever. Waiting at 4.
Yeah.
Give me the first time I throw out.
Yeah.
Maybe number 2.
Wonder what they want.
He said, for what? I said, careless driving and something else. She asked.
I was like,
He said, yeah, he was arrested. He never speak. He's very famous. He was in your case, no. She arrested. Well,
I want to wear something fall.
he didn't want to come out through the camera.
And they were,
There's no clothes.
Night before.
Like before, about 4:09.
Yeah, I was on the phone.
I mean,
It was relaxed.
everything. And I'm going, wow. And I just, would scan it, just like a hole.
Did anybody see the meteor? The meteor.
It was weird.
Mark said that
That
he saw it over there, and Dawn said that there were people in Catan and that used to.
It was flat. The guy from West Penn.
No, Saturday, Friday.
I said, well, then we have a lot of dead squirrels lying over on West Penn.
I was here this time, so and then I heard this noise, I didn't know what it was, and I went outside, nothing.
So far, the sheriff
Not even the,
Armstrong comments. You hear the crows.
Oh, really?
I had some crickets to keep me awake at night.
Oh,
That's what I did in my
did you
flowers.
hear the crows? Did you hear the crows? There were six sitting on my head.
Telephone poles.
Yeah,
I don't like those things.
they're big. Oh, my God. They really
See them
are.
on the telephone poles.
You would stick sitting on well, Anna, they call it Anna. That big spread.
That's
I don't know why.
That's why they come. That's why they come there.
And if you say something to her, quick, you'd be in a fight.
I was down visiting a friend of mine and sometime, and I saw Alberta down at the house a few days ago.
She was in hospital. She had a loss in and they did something and then caused her blood to clot.
License number.
So she kind of this
I didn't have anything to write on.
Last Tuesday, she had a problem. And then the same thing.
I know his attorney.
I sent her a call.
I do know.
And you kind of segued into it.
In fact, they need to.
What do they
Because Leo's people have property out there.
I'll say.
And he says that he always comes and goes away.
You mentioned things, but
I just know Ruth and Leo went on to church and Ruth would come with her. She goes down to St. She has husbands.
We got 40, maybe.
I think 2002.
Yeah, somebody,
They
they
always
always.
had a little coffee.
But I,
You said
you know what, this is
Is
Harold.
anybody else? First time was our officer the last time, like 2002, correct? 2002 was the last time Fred Quinn was here. When Fred Quinn was here with us.
Save the date.
That sound about right?
I said she was a rabbit. She was a rabbit. You can't hear one word you're saying. I said, I'm like,
No. They don't want you, they don't want us,
that's what he said.
they don't want us to hear.